Subtracting decimals. When you subtract decimals, one of the most important things to remember when you're trying to do the algorithm is to line up the decimals. An algorithm is just a way to solve problems. And then you subtract like normal. So you line up the decimals and then you subtract like normal. I made a place value chart here because I wanted you to see why answers are what they are. Now we know this is just part of a place value chart. A place value chart goes on forever in both directions, but I stopped here with ones, which is my whole, my and column, my tenths, and my hundredths. Tenths are different than tens. Tenths means 10 parts of one thing, 10 equal parts. Hundredths means 100 equal parts of one whole. I'm using base 10 blocks, and we're going to say that this flat is worth 1 because it can be filled with the different little pieces. It's made up of 100 little units and 10 rods. So that's why we can use it as a decimal as well, or a fraction. So my problem today is 7/10 minus 51 hundredths. If you look at this problem, it would appear that 51 is bigger than 7. But we're talking about tenths and hundredths. So this has 5/10 and this has 1/100. So if I was going to write that in my place value chart to help me out, I would write 5/10 and 1/100. And I want to subtract it from 7/10. So I'm going to put my decimal and I'm going to write 7/10. Now I know in the hundredths column, I could just simply add a 0 because it does not change the value. Now what I want to do up top is I want to show you 7/10 minus 51 hundredths. Or you can say 70 hundredths. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, not that small though. And I want to clone it. So far I have 4 and I want 7, so I'm going to keep cloning. Six and 7. So I have 7/10 here, and I know that I have no hundredths. So I'm going to take this unit away just for a moment because I don't have any hundredths. But I do know that with, actually, I don't want to move that too far. I do know that in order to take away 1/100th, I am going to need to regroup a tenth. So here's my tenth. I know 1/10 equals 10 hundredths. So now I'm going to bring this back. And get out 10 from it. It's just like regular subtraction. So now I have 10 hundredths. So what I did, I'm going to show you in my numbers. I regrouped one of my tenths and it became a 6, and then I made 10 hundredths. So now I can take away 1, and I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take away that 1. And that leaves me with 9. So that's what I'm going to write here. 9. I forgot to put my line here. And then I have 6/10. And I'm going to take away 5 because that's what the problem says to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that leaves me with 1/10. So that's what I'm going to write. And then I'm going to keep my decimals in the decimal column. And so 7/10 minus 51 hundredths comes out to 19 hundredths. And so I want you to think about the place value blocks when you are subtracting. If you don't need them and you can just remember what it means when you're doing this regrouping, then you can use this way. All right, that's subtracting decimals.